We will evaluate these limits by putting them in the calculator. So what I like to do before doing that, I like to set up my calculator to go from negative 2 pi on the x and positive 2 pi on the max. I like my x scale to go by every pi over 2. That's just me, and I think it's neat how it just changes into the decimal. Negative 3 to positive 3, now you can adjust the y how you would like. Okay, so the first one, I just know that cotangent is 1 over tangent. You can do either 1 over tangent or cosine over sine. Either way, the calculator will graph the same. So it will be the same. We're going to graph both. So here I have y1, plug in the fraction. So 1 over tangent of x. So that's the graph of the tangent. And we're evaluating as theta approaches 0 from the right. So 0 is right there. We're approaching from the right. Therefore, the limit of cotangent of theta of 0 approaching from the right is going to be positive infinity. Now, if you want to go with cosine over sine, instead of deleting that, I'm just going to go on the second one, and you will see how they overlap. So the red, you can barely see it graphing, but it's graphing. It's kind of turning purple. So when you evaluate again, it's approaching from the right, so positive infinity right there. So approaching from the left, approaching 0 from the left right there, that's leading toward negative infinity. So that's how we look at that. So 2 questions down. Now the second one, the third one, number 39, we are evaluating the limit as theta approaches 0 from the right of cosecant of theta. Cosecant, I know it's 1 over sine, and that's exactly what I'm going to put in y equals. So clear both functions, punch in the 1 over sine of x. When you graph, here's the sine function, 1 over sine of function, approaching 0 from the right. So we're approaching 0 from the right there. So it's toward infinity, positive infinity right there. So this one, positive infinity. Now the last one, it can get a little tricky, but it's still doable. So I'm going to do it 2 different ways. I can just go straight tangent. So just, no, tangent, no, right there. Woo. So tangent of x over 3. So when I'm graphing, we're evaluating as the limit of theta approaches pi over 2 from the right. So pi over 2 from the right is that dash right there. So approaching from the right, we're going this way. Approaching from the right, it's going toward negative infinity right there. So I know at this point my answer is negative infinity. Now, you can graph this in a different way. You can just graph sine over cosine because that's tangent. So I can do sine of x over 3 cosine of x because that's 1 over 3. So instead of clearing, I'm just going to do the second one. So sine of x and 3 cosine of x. And you can see that the graphs overlap as they're graphing. So it doesn't matter how you graph, you're going to have the same thing. So again, approaching pi over 2 from the right. Pi over 2 is right there. Approaching from the right is this way. So it leads toward negative infinity. All right.